Hello, I'm Katherine. Welcome to my channel, Empowered Empaths and Sensitive Souls. And in this video, I'd like to share a tip for intuitive empaths and sensitive souls about strengthening your boundaries. So, as intuitive empaths and sensitive souls, often we have what I would call permeable boundaries that allow a high level of sensory and psychic and energetic information to move through into our energy field and awareness. So the reason we have this is so as we can feel. The reason we have these type of boundaries as part of our makeup, as part of our natural makeup as sensitive and empathic people, is so as we can feel and sense the pain and suffering of others to assist us with healing and to assist our other intuitive gifts, to assist whatever our role is as sensitive, empathic people. Our gifts give us this high levels of information about what's going on for others. We can feel other people's emotions and pain. We can even feel, some of us can feel and sense the pain of Mother Earth. We can sense and feel the suffering and pain of humanity. Our gifts work in different ways. So that's what I found is we'll tend to feel different things that are relevant to our purpose and work. We may feel the pain and suffering of animals, even of plants. So that's some of the things that we can feel through this amazing sensitivity and these really permeable boundaries. However, the other side of that is that, as many of you may know, we can become very depleted, drained, just overwhelmed, overloaded, hard to focus, hard to do anything, hard to function. It can be that bad. It depends on, this, it's like a whole scale of sensitivity with empathic and sensitive people. For me, as I feel a lot of things through my body, so it can be really sensory overload to be experiencing a lot of other people's energies and emotions, and really very, very draining. Can affect my capacity to sleep, affect my, health and energy levels, things like that. So this is quite common for sensitive and empathic people to be dealing with these issues. And one of the things that I have found really helps is to strengthen your boundaries, strengthen your energetic and psychic boundaries. So I'm going to speak a bit about the different types of boundaries, some of the different types of boundaries. I find I'm often learning new things. There's always more, but I'll share some of the types of boundaries I've come across, and then a simple process that you can do to strengthen your boundaries, if that's something that feels relevant for you, you feel that would be helpful for you. When we strengthen boundaries, if we don't keep affirming that, they'll probably just go back to the way they were. So it's not like you're going to do something that's undoable. If it didn't feel right, it would just sort of go back to its default, really. So that you can explore this, and it's always your choice and free will. You can choose to strengthen your boundaries, and you can choose to open up and allow. It's our boundaries can be, as we learn to manage them, can be flexible to some degree. We can hold them more strongly, or we can sort of soften them, if you like, to allow more openness and information. So I found the strengthening boundaries so helpful. When I learned how to do that, it made a huge difference. And it's quite simple, really. The way that I do that is quite simple. It might need to be repeated. I found at times when, as I opened my intuitive gifts more, my sensitivity really increased to amazing degrees, and also some of the issues increased to high level issues as well. So finding how to increase the boundaries helped me so much at particular times. So that's why I'm keen to share that information with you. So what I found through strengthening my boundaries is that I can still feel plenty. I can still sense, whatever I need to sense through my intuitive and empathic gifts. But I have a boundary. I have, I can open up, or I can, strengthen the boundaries, or I can soften them. I still feel things. I still feel, what's going on with people to some degree, but I can, strengthen the boundaries and not be continually feeling other people's emotion or humanity's suffering, or, not be so inundated with those things. The boundary helps me for that information to be felt more subtly and just sensed without it being so impinging on my reality and in my energy, if that makes sense. The boundary really helps to define, okay, so this is my energy and I'm feeling that, sensing that, okay, and I can just say, yeah, thanks for the information, and not have to keep focusing on that and being so, having that so strongly in my energy, if that makes sense for you. So I just found it beneficial to strengthen my boundaries. No disadvantages, honestly. I just feel clearer, stronger. My energy levels are way better. I can do my work. I mean, honestly, without strengthening my boundaries, good boundaries, it's difficult to do my work because I feel so much in my energy. I feel other people's energies, emotions, mass consciousness, emotions. I feel past, present lives, other dimensional, parallel lives. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot for one person. So yay for energetic and psychic boundaries and strengthening those. It's amazing for me to the difference. So I really recommend this from my personal experience to at least have a play with and explore this and see how that feels for you. So I wanted to talk about some of the different types of boundaries. Just got my paper here because there's a lot. I think this is interesting to understand that there's not just one sort of energetic boundary. There's quite a few different ones, different types of boundaries. So I'll talk a bit about that. So there's energetic boundaries, just broadly called energetic boundaries, that help to make an energetic boundary between us and, a person, a place, whatever, anything, okay, is that energetic boundary to define, this is my energy and this is the energy of something else. So that's an energetic boundary. Psychic boundaries, it's a little different. Psychic boundaries are, how I experience and explain is a little bit different. I find psychic boundaries more, probably more on the mental level, that of what I'm psychically tuning into through my third eye and subtle senses, what I allow and don't allow. So having a stronger psychic boundary defines what I allow and not allow, what I allow and what I don't allow into my psychic space. And it's like can be like a strong barrier if needed to not accept psychic energy directed from people, for example, that I don't wish to have in my energy. So I found that very helpful, strengthening the psychic boundaries. Emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries help to define, this is my emotion, this is your emotion, and just have that strong, emotional boundaries. Also, emotional boundaries of, again, emotional boundaries can be also what you're allowing and not allowing emotionally in your life. What feels a boundary on what you accept from others, what you help to moderate your emotional world, right? So they define, they moderate, they manage. They're a boundary. Interpersonal boundaries are the boundaries we hold in our relationships. So they are, again, what we allow and don't allow in our relationship is the boundary. It can be like our yes and our no. They're our boundaries. Physical boundaries are what we allow and don't allow in our physical space. Boundaries with mass consciousness. So boundaries with mass consciousness define, create a definition between our personal consciousness and mass consciousness. So as we can be aware, especially for empaths and sensitive people who particularly feel this, to know, to have that definition and boundary. This is my emotion and feeling, and this is the feeling, this is the emotion I'm picking up of mass consciousness, and I'm just going to have a boundary with that, so I'm aware of it, but I'm not like overwhelmed with that. I'm not, just taken over by that in a sense. It's not like I'm aware of it. Might need to know that, but it's not like my whole reality. I know that's the emotion of mass consciousness. Sometimes I feel the sadness. I would feel like a huge sadness, like the pain of mass humanity. I know I would just feel it suddenly. It's not because of something in my life. I would just, or something that's happened before. There's a particular quality to feeling these things that you sort of get to know. And I would find there would be tears running down my face, sometimes for no reason, but I would feel this like huge sadness or huge like despair or pain, and I would just feel it in my heart and with these tears running down my face. And I felt that the reason I'm feeling that, I work with the angels a lot, is just to participate in healing, to transmute some of that energy and that sadness and that pain. Having the boundary with that is allows me to still feel that I have a boundary. Have a boundary of, how much I feel that, when I want to feel that, when I don't want to feel that. So I'll always be aware of things to some degree, but I can have a boundary. I'll be aware of things when I need to know it, right? So I think, we can be aware of things. We can definitely, a boundary can help us to have a bit of an off switch with things, to say, no, I'm sleeping now. Okay, I need to rest. I don't want to be processing humanity's pain when I'm sleeping. If that's, perhaps if that was something really necessary at some point, that would be something between you and your team members, or between myself and my team members, and I may choose to do that. But with a boundary, you have a sense of having a choice and a yes and no to that. Boundaries with Mother Earth. There's an interesting one. So this isn't one that I feel so much, but I have found other people that have spoken with other people who feel Mother Earth's pain and assist to Mother Earth to heal, assist they feel Mother Earth's detoxing, things like that. But again, having a boundary with that can be really helpful, because otherwise that can really wipe you out if you're processing through your body for Mother Earth. Boundaries with past lives, future lives, parallel lives. I tend to, I can feel at times, as many of us can, it's sometimes we may not know what we're feeling and sensing, but through my work with the Akashic Records, I can differentiate that what I'm feeling and experiencing is actually coming from another lifetime or a past life or a parallel life. And often when that's there, there'll be a portal to that too. So a portal-way that's open, there'll be something that needs to be resolved, which is another sort of rabbit hole to go down. But also strengthening the boundaries. You can actually just generally strengthen the boundaries with past lives, future lives, parallel lives. Yes, strengthen the boundaries with future lives, because otherwise we can be experiencing unresolved things with past lives or parallel lives. We may need to have some awareness of that and assist with that at some point, do some work with that, but to just have otherwise it's just like a bleed through all the time. It may be trauma, it may be fear, and it may make no sense in terms of your current life, but it may be coming from a past life or parallel life, like a bleed through. So strengthening boundaries can be really helpful. Boundaries with other dimensions. So if the boundaries aren't good there with other dimensions, you can definitely feel ungrounded, and just having awareness of all those dimensions at once. Again, it can be a bit of a bleed through experience. It's better to be consciously opening to the other dimensions by choice than have this poor boundaries and just bleed through all the time and switching dimensions. Really challenging to live life on Earth with that. So I recommend good dimensional boundaries, and of course closing portals from when you're working with other dimensions and lifetimes, things like that. It's sort of related. So that's really another conversation about portals, but definitely strengthening the boundaries. So just noticing what types of boundaries you're, from the list that I went through, just perhaps reflecting on, I could really do with strengthening my emotional boundaries, my energetic boundaries, or you could just strengthen all of them. That would be fine too. So I wanted to just share a couple of simple ways that you can strengthen your boundaries. And this is meant just more as a starting point for you to, develop your own statements and work with your team members. I thought it would be helpful if I share a couple of ways that I work with strengthening boundaries. So just a simple statement. Intention is everything in this work, so I ask and intend to strengthen and optimize my energetic, emotional boundaries, my interpersonal boundaries, my boundaries with mass consciousness, my boundaries with Mother Earth, my boundaries with past, future, and parallel lives, my dimensional boundaries. Thank you. I can actually just feel it like levers that are just all clicking into place with the boundaries. It's just like they're all just going into place. Yeah. And you might need to do that a few times or do it daily and just strengthen your practice of doing that, and just get the feel of that, really get that happening. I also often work with archangels, or you might work with different team members. So for boundaries, I may work with different archangels. I tend to ask who's the best to work with, so I can ask now to optimally strengthen all the boundaries I just mentioned, the energetic, emotional. I didn't mention psychic, so I'll bring that in energetic, emotional, boundaries with mass consciousness, boundaries with psychic boundaries, emotional boundaries, boundaries with Mother Earth, boundaries with past, future, parallel lives, and dimensional boundaries. How many of the archangels would optimally assist with that? So I just ask like this. Yeah, you might have a different way, or you're welcome to work with the archangels I work with. Yeah, so Archangel Michael, Metatron, Uriel, and Chamuel, who we work with today. That's who I was guided to work with, to ask to strengthen all these boundaries. And it's fairly common that I work with Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Chamuel. So, but sometimes I may need to work with other archangels too. That's why I always ask. So I ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Chamuel to assist to strengthen and optimize all my boundaries, including the energetic, psychic, emotional, interpersonal, boundaries with mass consciousness, boundaries with Mother Earth, boundaries with past, present, and future lives, boundaries with and dimensional boundaries. Thank you. So I ask to strengthen my boundaries with all people, places, and situations. Thank you. Just came to me to say that. So, that's an example of just getting creative with the statement in the moment, just as it comes to you, and trusting that, practicing that, just making this your own. So I just felt like I still needed to say something, so I added that. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you, talking about boundaries and different types of boundaries. And just from doing that simple process, I can really feel a shift. It's been a little bit challenging the last couple of days, a couple of particular situation. So, yeah, wow, just strengthening my psychic boundaries and all the other boundaries, emotional, all those boundaries just really help to, my energy field feels, I feel everything through my body. I'm very sensitive like that. So I can really feel a shift, just like nice, stronger, stronger layers of stronger energetic structure. Nice. So yeah, I hope you enjoy exploring, strengthening your boundaries and find that helpful. So please do let me know in the comments if you have any questions or something that you'd like me to talk about in the videos. Oh, and I always welcome feedback. Also, if you found this helpful, you may like to take a look at my Lightworkers Toolkit that I created as an energy management and spiritual alignment toolkit with lots of tools to assist, similar to this, to assist you as a sensitive, empathic person, as a healer, as an intuitive, to really manage your energy and stay in spiritual alignment. So you can find that at courses.innerlightsanctum.com. with no HTTP. Yes, I think it is at the beginning. / Okay, I'll put it in the comments anyway. So there's a free Akashic Light activation for clearing negative and parasitic energies, which is really great, helpful little process that I share in the course too. So thank you so much for staying with me till the end of the video. Please like my videos. So if you did like it and enjoyed it and found it helpful, so more people can come across these videos, more empaths and sensitive people can benefit from these videos if you feel they're beneficial for you. Thank you so much.